Check out this video. I made other videos earlier talk about Marxism, communism. They're trying to spread through the schools, right? Marxism, communism through the schools. You know, why I said your ancestors fought against slavery, a form of slavery. This gonna prove to you that the Democrat Party from the top have communism agendas. They want to turn America into a communist country. Take away your rights. I say it again. People who don't know, people just still just think it's something whatever. No, communism takes away your rights. But it starts from the top. Hold up.
Could not imagine any circumstance where parents are treated as domestic terrorists.
Additionally, he has held numerous
The day before the counterterrorism division,
Gentlemen,
the FBI.
out of order.
If you would just yield for 1 second, I would like
I
to
will
respond
not.
to what
I'm
you said.
introducing witnesses. I'll begin from the
Thank you,
beginning.
Mr. Chairman, the Administrative Procedures Act is important, and I look forward to our hearing today and hearing from our witnesses. But I will tell you this, what's more important is the fact that the Justice Department continues to treat parents as domestic terrorists. And the fact that the Attorney General hasn't been called back by our chairman to answer our questions when 41 days ago he came in here and misled us, and more importantly, misled the American people, I just can't figure out. I want the committee to understand this. In a 24-day time period, here's what happened. On September 29th, the National School Boards Association writes a letter to the President of the United States asking the President to use the Patriot Act to go after moms and dads. One of the individuals who signed that letter, Ms. Garcia, 2 days later, on October 1st, gets a plum position on a board at the Department of Education. 3 days after that letter is sent to the President of the United States, asking him to treat parents as terrorists, the weekend of October 2nd and 3rd, Tim Langen, the head of the Counterterrorism Division at the FBI, is already having conversations with the Justice Department on how to implement the letter sent from the School Board Association to the President of the United States. So think about that. The head of the Counterterrorism Division at the FBI is already talking about how to implement the memo that hasn't yet been sent from the Attorney General. And we know this because of questioning our colleague, Ms. Stefanik, had of Mr. Langen in front of the House Intel Committee. And of course, on October 4th, 5 days after the letter was sent, we have the now famous memo from the Attorney General where he says, we want to send to all 94 judicial districts around the country, every single district. We want a dedicated line of communication for threat reporting on parents, a snitch line on moms and dads. All that happens in 5 days. Now, I've been around government a while, and I've never seen government move that fast in my life. 2 weeks later, October 20th, because of a brave whistleblower, we know about an email sent from the same guy, Mr. Langen, the head of the Counterterrorism Division of the FBI. He sends an email to special agents in charge, FBI agents around the country, saying, put this threat tag, this designation, this label on parents who show up at school board meetings and speak out against this curriculum that they don't want their children taught. The next day, pretty important day, October 21st, the Attorney General comes in front of the House Judiciary Committee and says this, quote, I could not imagine any circumstance where parents are treated as domestic terrorists. The only problem is 24 hours earlier, the head of the Counterterrorism Division had sent out an email saying exactly the opposite, using counterterrorism measures against parents, against moms and dads. And of course, the next day, October 22nd, the National School Board Association, because of the political fallout, they thought it was going to be a political winner. It turned out to be a political loser for them. The National School Board Association withdraws the letter, and they say in that letter, we regret and apologize for the letter we sent on September 29th. All that happens in 24 days. Again, I have never seen government move that fast in my life. Now, those 24 days are just part of the story, though. because the most important part is what happened before September 29th. The most important part is the coordination between the White House and the School Board Association before the letter was ever sent. Here's what we know from FOIA requests, from communications made by Mr. Slavin and Ms. Garcia. Here's what Mr. Slavin said. The White House requested additional information from the National School Boards Association before the letter was sent. And Ms. Garcia said this, quote, the National School Boards Association communicated for several weeks with the White House before the letter was sent. In other words, this thing didn't start. I mean, this is the real story. The National School Boards Association letter wasn't the catalyst for this flurry of activity by the Department of Justice against moms and dads. It wasn't the catalyst. It was just the pretext. It didn't originate with the School Board Association. It started with the Biden administration and with the Garland Justice Department. They were looking for an excuse, looking for a pretext to target, to threat tag moms and dads. And the fact that it's been 41 days since the Attorney General sat at that desk and lied to this committee, and we haven't called him back, I just can't believe it. So, Mr. Chairman, I hope the chairman of the full committee will ask Mr. Garland to come back and answer our questions. Because we have seen this pattern before, frankly. I know the Democrats all day like to make fun of this, but we've seen this pattern before. We saw this with the Justice Department in the Obama-Biden administration. We saw Mr. Comey and Mr. McCabe. We saw that Justice Department, that FBI used the dossier as a pretext to do what they wanted to do, namely go spy on the Trump campaign. They knew the dossier was garbage, but they used that as the pretext, as the excuse to go do what they already wanted to do. Same pattern here. Exact same pattern here. They get the School Board Association to write the letter, oh, here's our excuse to do what we wanted to do. Go after moms and dads. Because we don't like them objecting to critical race theory being taught in our schools. But you know what? The one thing they didn't bargain for was the fact that moms and dads says, we don't care what you do. We don't care if you try to chill our speech. We don't care if you put a threat tag on us, label us domestic terrorists, use counterterrorism measures from the FBI against us. We don't care. We're going to stand up for our kids. The fallout from this, the backlash from this was unbelievable. Of course, we saw it play out in Virginia. So again, I would just say it's been 41 days, Mr. Chairman, 41 days since the Attorney General misled us, the Judiciary Committee misled the American people. I hope our next hearing, whenever that is, Mr. Garland is in here answering a lot of questions we have. I'm sure the Democrats have some questions too, but the fact that he hasn't been brought back is wrong, and everyone knows it. I yield back.
Now the question you need to ask, why the Justice Department, Joe Biden, will label parents, people at schools, objecting to critical race theory and label as domestic terrorism because they don't agree with what's coming out at the school. You don't agree, that's a decision. But see, that's part of communism. You're going against them. You don't. Please start to understand what's going on. They not for you. They might give you a little bit of check. They might give you a little money and say this is this or this, whatever. But their main objective is to push communism through the United States of America. Destroy us. Send us back to slavery. Do you get it? Understand that. Send us back to slavery. Government control over your life totally. Don't matter. Not just ain't just black people now. It's whites, black, Hispanics, whatever race. Asian. It's critical race theory was so good. Why are they doing so much to stop it? Why are they using the Patriot Act to stop it? But I mean, I'm not stopping. Why use the Patriot Act to threaten people? I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's critical race theory was so. What they say it is, why are they using the Patriot Act to scare moms and dads? Why do you use counter-terrorist activities to scare moms and dads. So, you black person that's teaching it, that stood up for it, you. They have black slavery. Black people have black slave. They the ones. They the house Negroes, the field, whatever. But anyway, black people have black slave. So, um, how they say it? Just because they your skin color don't mean they for you. Just because they your race don't mean they for you. Yeah, I put it like that. But anyway, though, just because that person hold your color don't mean they for you. Just because that person hold this color don't mean they for you. Or Hispanic or whatever. If they attacking your constitutional rights, they not for you. No matter what brand or nationality they call themselves. Or what organization they call themselves. It's not for you. It's no negotiating your constitutional rights. Get that through your head. Because once you start negotiating your constitutional rights, the Democrats will try to find a way to weaken them. Like, the second shall not be infringed. That's plain. That's plain. But you might agree. You might do this. Might do this. But listen to the words. Shall not be infringed. Because they knew once they try to gabble and touch it, they knew they were gonna try to take it away. Find a way to take it away or find a way to restrict it or whatever. Now, what they doing now? Freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of belief. They're attacking all of that. They are attacking the Constitution, the Democrat Party. And they give you little crumbs, little this and this and this. They say, okay, to make it seem like they're doing you a favor or they're doing something for you. That's an illusion. Quit falling for the illusion. Quit falling for the 1,000, the 1,400, the 1,600, the 1,200 or whatever. Quit falling for it. That's a mouse in the trap. Wake up. Stop supporting these Democrats or whoever, or Republicans that's doing this. But it's mostly Democrats and progressive. The Progressive Party and the Democrat Party are the enemy to you, to me, to the United States, to your freedom, to your constitutional rights. Wake up. You just heard it for yourself. Joe Biden pushing communism. Democrat Party pushing communism, Marxism. People told you BLM was a Marxist organization. They found out. That's who helped get Joe Biden in the office. Because they want that communism. Black people want to turn you into a slave. Because they want reverse time. They want to be the slave owners of black people too. Wake up. Go Brandon.